The RBA holding rates steady. Did we miss the start of the race? Hi, everyone, and welcome to Ainslie Insights, brought to you by Ainslie Bullion, Ainslie Crypto, and the Gold and Silver Standard as the Ainslie Group celebrates 50 years. Today, welcome back, Alex, on quite a day. As we record this, the US election votes are still being counted. We're just hours away from knowing who will potentially occupy the White House for the next 4 years. But in the meantime, there have been some interesting developments here at home as well. So joining us to discuss them after we both came away with the winning horse in the Melbourne Cup yesterday. I just got it from the office suite, but you somehow picked it, Alex. I'm not sure how you did that.
My birthday's 11.
Oh, there you go. So
That's
that
why the odds
explains
were
it.
just mine. It was just a fluke.
Well, it was very impressive. I was very excited just for the office suite. Everyone was very jealous that I got that one, but you picking it on the nose, that's a good one. So the article today, very interesting. Obviously, you were talking about what happened yesterday. It wasn't just the Melbourne Cup, wasn't just our big wins. It was also the RBA decision. And it was very interesting, actually, because we looked back a year ago to the Melbourne Cup decision last year, and it was that bold decision that was being made to actually do something. We're just sitting on our hands again this time around. A little bit symbolic there. Do you want to maybe talk us through what happened yesterday and that context?
Okay, so a year ago, we sort of had a similar article where we said, this is it. If they raise today, it's the last one. And really, they probably raised at the right point. Inflation the month before was still at 5.4%, whereas other countries were still, really come off faster than Australia. So last year, it probably was expected, but I stand by it was probably one rate hike more than what Australia needed. And I really feel in the last year, a lot of people have been doing it tough. A lot of people have been digging into their savings. Yesterday, probably again a controversial decision because you've got the US just dropped by 0.5. You've got Europe now a 0.8 and a 0.25 drop in the last 2 months. The US is touted to probably do it again. And we're sitting on our hands and we're saying, okay, inflation's at 2.8%. It's coming off. It's still too high. And I think we're ignoring some things that are going on in the world and ignoring what other countries are doing. So I would say, again, November, another controversial Melbourne Cup decision by the RBA. And what is going to make matters perhaps worse is markets are saying probably not till mid next year still. So they're holding firm on this nothing happening thing.
And we could be wrong both ways there. We were late, like you said, we were late initially, and now we'll be late again, the other side of it. Do you think there's been, I mean, the excuse that they were using, certainly, that was coming out in the analysis of that was that we've still got this last part of the inflation reduction and that is going to be particularly challenging to deal with. So, sure, we've had massive pullback in the overall inflation, but this last leg of the race is going to be challenging. Can you maybe explain to us a little bit about why that's not straightforward, why they're saying that?
Because there's a lag and, they're going off the quarter September results. So July, August, September, we're now November. They're saying it was too high then, 2.8%. When it's coming off from, I think we peaked around 7.8, 7.9% December 22. It's been a fairly rapid decline. We are not looking at what is going on in the world. As the US and Europe drop rates, the Aussie dollar strengthens. What that does is that drives our inflation down because goods become cheaper that we import. So you've got that. I don't think we're looking at what's going on in the oil market, which is very significant, and actually the energy market. I repriced a gas a gas contract the other day, and it's come off 20% even in Australia to an outrageously high figure, but still it's come off 20%. So things are coming off that are inputs into food, commodities, all sorts of things. And I just don't think I think we're looking too far backwards and not far enough forwards. Whereas I think the US and Europe is looking forwards going, shit, if this comes off quickly, inflation's going to drop quickly.
And I'll dig into a couple of bits that you've mentioned there, but just the broader aspect of this race to the bottom idea that we've got other central banks aggressively cutting. Ultimately, do you think that like the real issue is if we miss that, that we are strategically left behind then? Like, does it actually, in your mind, have a significant impact on us as a country and where we sit competitively in the world?
Yeah, so it potentially drives the Australian exchange rate up too quickly, which makes us less competitive. So definitely, and potentially it drives inflation down too quickly that we're left in the same, situation where we've got to do these mega cuts quickly again to catch up. And those swings are too big. Money all gone and then money all in your pocket. It's just the wild swings make it very hard for business, make it very hard for individuals, and you're constantly playing a catch up and not realizing what the rest of the world is doing. One of the reasons the government said we're going to see, the RBA said we're going to see inflation is because of all those stage 3 tax cuts. Nobody spent them. Everyone just put them to their mortgages. From what I can see, it did not have the effect that they thought. And it's probably because we're catching up. We're not, the stage 3 tax cuts came in probably at a time when everyone's mortgages are hiking up and, it had to be squirreled away. We're applying the stage 3 tax cuts over inflation that's 3 months lag behind. It's hard for the RBA to be forward looking because they're looking at historic data. But yeah, the oil at right now and energy prices, the greening of the world economy, all of that will be significant on inflation. We've spoken about that before, and we are not seeing it. And if we start playing catch up too quickly, we're going to have problems again.
So a couple of things on that, but one specifically, do you think that when we talk about specifically those stage 3 tax cuts, is that indicating to you an actual economic issue there, or like is it just absorbed and we move on, or is it a broader economic issue around household debt, consumer sentiment, those sort of things? Like, do you think that has a longer lingering effect, or was it just one off?
Yeah, so that is probably exactly right. It will, the fact that they've come through, everyone's probably applying it to their mortgages. It means people want to save money, or people are using every single bit of it just to pay down debt at the moment. People don't have anything. I think that's pretty clear at the moment. There's not much free spending, restaurants are down, all of that sort of stuff. We know as well that, our GDP at the moment, take out government spending, we're negative. So the only thing holding this up is government spending. So you need to recognise, and the RBA needs to recognise, that it's households going backwards and people are not going to start spending money until rates start dropping quickly, like what's going on overseas. I did a comparison that Charlie Billaleo, anyway, that I put his Twitter account. He's really good at sort of tracking what's going on with hikes and cuts. So the only other countries that have hiked now, everyone's cutting. So Japan, Malaysia, and Taiwan still hiking. Well, they're at 2 and 3%, 1% or 0.25% in Japan's case. They're hiking. They're too low. Then you've got Brazil, Argentina, and Turkey. Well, they have an inflation problem. We all know that they've been in currency crisis. The only other one that we're sort of similar to is Norway. And if you know much about Norway, that's the country with the huge oil reserves that put basically an appropriate tax on these resource companies that were pulling it out of the ground and now have huge foreign reserves, oil reserves. They have money in the government that's supporting all sorts of things, whereas we just sold it to everyone else. But we're still in that category. Everyone else is cutting. Why are we? What is so different about us? I just think it's that we're not trying to look at forward data. I think we're just gauging it all off historic data.
And I think that's the perfect wrap up. We were slow. We're slow on the other side of this. We're slow on this side of it. We just don't seem to have got that timing right, and we're just relying on everyone else and sit back and wait. And that sometimes works, but it's not smart policy, and it's not policy that's actually setting us up for success, is it? I mean, it's just reactive.
We're the scratched horse right now.
The scratched horse.
I think that was number 10 in the Melbourne Cup.
Number
so
10,
we've been
right.
scratched.
Well, everyone has to listen to us because we both got it right. Me, but from pure luck, you because of pure luck as well, because when you were born. But it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. We got that winner, so very exciting for us yesterday. It's going to be very exciting tonight. We'll see how this unfolds with the US presidential race, but lots going on there, lots to pay attention to. Thank you for your work on that, looking at what the RBA is doing there. We'll continue to watch and see when we get it, probably not till next year. But thanks for your work on that today, Alex.
Oh, thanks for having me again.
Thank you everyone for watching. We'll chat again soon.